Hi friends, good morning to all of you, and we are back again with geography. Today we'll study geography and we'll study the lesson number 3 about water resources. So long I am sure I've been listening continuously about economics and you must be tired. So let us change the topic and come back to a familiar topic which we are all essentially using in our daily life, that is water. Cannot think about a life surviving without water. So water is essential thing for life, not only for human beings but for plants and other things. For all the flora and fauna, water is an essential thing. And so in this lesson let us learn about water, how much water is available, or how essential water is for life, and how can we preserve this water, and how many people are suffering due to lack of water. And so let us see in detail in this lesson so that we will be able to value the water, because very often we think water is so much available, nothing to worry, so we waste the water, we put other waste into the water, and we dirty the water, pollute the water, and so many things we do. But remember, other parts of the world people are dying out of water scarcity. So let this lesson help us to be aware about the value of water and how precious water is there. So let us learn something so that be able to we will be able to put it into our own practice, into our own life and practice, so that other people will be able to benefit from the good things that we practice in our life. So you can take lesson number 3, page number 23. So you already know that 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water, but only a small portion of it accounts for fresh that can be put to use. So I am sure you all know very well about the inner universe, what is, or in the earth, what is more, water is more. 3/4 of the area is covered with water. Out of the so 3/4 is water and just 1/4 is land. So still we call our planet Earth. We don't call it water, we call it Earth. But though this much of water is there, 75% of the Earth, of our planet, is water. But it's very strange to say that all this water is not useful for us, or cannot be used, because it is not pure, it is not potable, it cannot be drunk and so on, because it is salty water. Most of the water we find in the ocean, in the seas, that's all salty water. We cannot use it for anything. We cannot use for drinking, cannot use for bath, nothing. So it remains like that. So only a little bit of it is useful, or that is fresh water, the water that we find in the river, the water we get from the rain. All these are fresh water, all the rest are salty water. And this fresh water is mainly obtained from surface runoff and groundwater that is continually being renewed and recharged through hydrological cycle. So this water that is available, the good water that is available, how do we get? We get it through the river, running water is there, and the rain is there. And you know, water cycle, water is going in cycle, going up, isn't it? So the water goes up through, what is the method? Evaporation. So through evaporation water goes up, then water comes down. What is name for water coming down? We call it rain. But what is the real name? It is called precipitation. Coming down is called precipitation. So rain, snowfall, all these are water coming down, and that is called precipitation. So it is in cycle. It will come down through precipitation, then it will go up through evaporation, it will come down. So water cycle is going on. It is going on in cycle form, round form. And all water moves within the hydrological cycle, ensuring that water is a renewable resource. So water is a renewable resource. We can use the water again and again. Water does not get destroyed. Only water gets dirty or gets polluted. So water does not completely get destroyed, but it gets polluted. So we can use it again and again. So even the polluted water can be purified and can be used again. And you might wonder that if 3/4 of the world is covered with water and water is a renewable resource, then how is it that countries and regions around the globe suffer from water scarcity? So we said here, this much of water is it. 3/4 of the water of the earth is water. And we also said water does not get over. It can be recycled or reused again, renewed again and again. And still we say the water scarcity is there. How is it? So much of water is there and it can be reused again and again, but still we say water is renewable. So why is it predicted that by 2025 nearly 2 billion people will live in absolute water scarcity? So the scientists have predicted by the year 2025, that means this is already 2020, after 5 years, that more than 2 billion people are going to live in water scarcity. That means they are going to struggle for water after 5 more years. That is a prediction. So we need to be careful. We need to use water sparingly, without wasting, without polluting, and so on. Now let us see about few facts about water. So this is in general the situation that the world is facing. Some places there is plenty of water, some places there is no water at all. People have to go kilometers for carrying water. One bucket of water or 1 pot of water they have to carry. It takes hours for carrying. So let us see what are some of the facts about this water. 96.5% of the total volume of world's water is estimated to exist as oceans, and only 2.5% as fresh water. So 96.5% of the water, where do you find? Ocean. We find in ocean. And 2.5% only fresh water. So this 96.5%, that is 96.5%, is found in ocean, and that is not good for drinking. That is salty water. Then how much is left? Just only 3.5% of the water is fresh water. All the rest are not good. So out of this 3.5% of water, we find that only 2.5% is fresh water. So all these are not fresh water, only 2.5. So other ones are polluted water and so on. So 96.5% we find in ocean, and that is not fresh water. Then 1% is simply left, found in some other places, in the sea, in the lakes and so on. That is also not fresh water. So only 2.5% of the total water is fresh water. Now you must have understood why there is so much of water scarcity in the world. So much of water is not fresh water, only just 2.5%. And nearly 70% of this fresh water occurs as ice sheets and glaciers, and in Antarctica, Greenland and mountainous regions of the world, while a little less than 30% is stored as groundwater in the world's aquifers. So we said just 2.5% Just 2.5% is fresh water, and if you take this one 2.5%, the 70% of this. So out of the fresh water, just say the 100% of the fresh water, that is this much, and this is 70%. Where will you find? You will find 70% of the fresh water in ice sheets and glaciers. Ice sheets we have studied when we studied about mountains. On top of the mountain where the temperature is very low, the whole area is covered with ice, glaciers, and so if you go to Himalaya, most of the areas are covered with glaciers, and that's why the rivers originating from Himalaya, they have perennial water source. Always there is water. Why? Because this ice is melting and the water continues to flow down. So that is how the river gets water. So all that is fresh water. The ice sheets, the glaciers, all that. And that is, where do we find these ice sheets and the glaciers? We find in Antarctica, Greenland, and mountainous regions of the world. So these polar regions, Antarctica, Greenland, all these are in the polar regions, and is always covered with ice. And also the mountainous regions, the high mountains of the world, they are all covered with ice. And while a little less than 30% is stored as groundwater in the world's aquifers. So 70% you will find in the form of ice, then the rest of the 30%, little less than 30% you will find in the groundwater. Under the ground there is water source. That's why when we dig well, we find water. When we dig two wells, we can find water because there is water under the earth. How the earth gets water under the earth? So the rainwater, when it comes, it is sinking down into the earth and it is getting stored under the earth. And India receives nearly 4% of the global precipitation and ranks 133 in the world in terms of water availability per person per annum. So if you look at the whole India, how much water we receive? Of the total rain that is coming in the whole world, we are receiving 4% of rain. We receive 4% of the global precipitation. Precipitation means the rainfall and the snowfall all together we have the 4% of the water coming into our country. Since our country is very big, we receive more rain, more precipitation, more snowfall, and so on. So if small countries may be receiving very less. Since our country size is big, we receive more. And we are ranking 133 in the world in terms of availability of water per person per annum. So in a year, one person is able to use how many liters of water? So calculating that, we say India is ranking 133. So ahead of us, so many other countries are there which have got more water available. So India is ranking very much behind, 133. That means water scarcity in India is very high. Though we receive 4% of rainfall in a year, all the people are not able to have sufficient water. That's why our rank is going down. So if you take care of the water sources and store water for the purpose to use in the dry season, then I'm sure our rank will come up. From 133 will be able to come higher and higher. So every person will have to try for that. Then the total renewable water resources of India are estimated at 1,897 square kilometer per annum. So we feel that in a year we are using 1,897 square kilometer per annum. So much of water is there which can be renewable, which can be renewed. It's already used but can be used again. So if you spread out all that water that we have used once, if you spread out, it will come how many square kilometers? 1897 square kilometers in a year. So much of water we are using and which can be reused again. So we have to renew it. So if we develop systems, so it is certainly the government will have to think about it, and they can develop a system to renew it. Then certainly we are going to benefit. We can use that water again, and the water scarcity in our country will be reduced. Then by 2025, it is predicted that a large part of India will join countries or regions having absolute water scarcity. So earlier we said about a prediction in 2025 what will happen. 2 billion people will be suffering from absolute water scarcity. That means those people, 2 billion people will be living absolute water scarcity. Without any water available, they will have to live. That means they will die surely. Out of scarcity of water, out of thirsty, they will die. 2 billion people. Imagine, it is going to be a very terrific situation. So we say that 2 billion people, some of the people will be from India. Because some regions in India, there is a lot of water scarcity, water shortage is there. So quite many Indians also will suffer death by the year 2025. So we are already coming closer to it. Just after 5 years, that severe drought may come and all our people may suffer. So we need to take precaution. We need to take extra care to preserve water, use it properly, and increase the groundwater level and so on. If there is more water at the ground level, under the ground, then we will be able to use it. But if you don't allow the water to sink down, if it is simply flowing down to the ocean, then the groundwater level does not increase, it simply remains. So we have to make sure that we use techniques so that water will go down, sink into the earth, and the groundwater level will come up higher and higher. Then people will have some hope in order to face this water scarcity that are threatening the whole universe. And now let's see what is the seriousness of this water scarcity and what can we do in order to conserve this water for the purpose of using it in the future. Water scarcity and water conservation. Water scarcity and conservation. How can we do conservation? You might have already learned this term several times. Conservation, that is keeping it for future use. So given the abundance of renewability of water, we said water is a renewable resource, therefore there is so much of water can be renewed. Just now we said, if you spread out all that water that can be renewed again, it will come 1897 square kilometers. So much of water can be reused again, renewed again, purified again. Then what happened? It is difficult to imagine that we may suffer from water scarcity. So if you make use of all this water that we are wasting, if it can be renewed, then we can never imagine how can we suffer from water scarcity. So if you are suffering from water scarcity, it shows that we are wasting the water. We are not making use of the water properly. That is why we are suffering from water scarcity. The moment we speak of water shortages, we immediately associate it with regions having low rainfall or those that are drought prone. So when we think about water shortage, throughout India we don't receive equal rainfall. Some places like Rajasthan and Gujarat, they receive very little rainfall, and some other places like Northeast and other coastal regions, they receive very heavy rainfall. They receive up to 400 centimeters of rainfall in a year. Some places like Gujarat, they receive less than 100 centimeters of rainfall. So people who are living in these drought hit areas where there is no sufficient rain, they are the one who are suffering more. They are the one who is affected more. People who are living in a place where there is plenty of rain, they don't suffer much. Therefore, they are not able to realize what are the sufferings that others are going through due to lack of water, due to lack of rain and so on. So let us be concerned about other parts, people who are living in other parts as well. And we instantaneously visualize the deserts of Rajasthan and women balancing many matkas, that is earthen pots, used for collecting water, storing water, and traveling long distances to get water. So you can see in your picture also, you can see women standing such a long time, long queue is there, catching one pot to get one water. They have to wait for such a long time because water is not available. And you might have seen the Rajasthan women, they are very expert. You can see one person keeping pots on their heads, on his head or her head, 2 or 3 or 4, and going for fetching water. So because they have to walk such a long kilometers and they cannot go and come back several times. So when they go, they carry 3-4 pots, and one on top of the other they will be balancing and carrying. So such a heavy work, heavy burden to make the water available for their house. And true, the availability of water resources varies over space and time, mainly due to variations in seasonal and annual precipitation. So this availability of water is varying. It is different from place to place. Why? Depending on season. So the rain comes certain season there is no rain at all. And also precipitation, annual precipitation, that is including the snowfall. So where there is enough precipitation, enough rainfall and snowfall, those people don't suffer much. But other places where there is less rainfall, those people are suffering much because of lack of water for them. But water scarcity in most cases is caused by overexploitation, excessive use, and annual and unequal access to water among different social groups. So why some people are suffering? Where there is so much of rain, they are not suffering. But some other people are suffering a lot. What is the reason? Because of overexploitation. People are overusing the water. So more than what they need, they take out. For example, the farmers, they make the tube well and they pump out water and irrigate all their lands. So more than what they need, they are taking out because they have big motor. They may have many big wells. They may have, especially those rich farmers, they will be able to take it out. So as we pump out more and more water, what happens? The groundwater level is going down and down, and the poor people who have got well in their house, they don't get water because water level is going down and down. So that is exploitation. And the big companies like Coca-Cola and other companies which are making drinks, soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all those things, you know the names. So they are all using water. From where are they getting water? They are not getting water from the river, or they are not taking water from the sea, ocean. They are taking from the groundwater. So how many liters of Pepsi and other drinks, soft drinks, they are producing, they are bringing? You can see here in our market, by truck they are bringing so many liters. So like that they are distributing everywhere. So those big companies are exploiting, over-exploiting. They are not worried about drinking water for the people. They want to make this water and bottle it and sell it to different shops and make profit. That is their intention. So those things and all should be stopped so that people will have drinking water. And another thing is excessive use. Some people go on using it simply, excessively, more than what they require. If they wash one hand, instead of taking 1 mug of water, they will pour 2 mugs of water, which is overusing, excessive use. Then unequal access. So some people have easy access to water. People who are living near the river, they have access to water, river. But people who are far away in the desert side, or near the forest and so on, they have no water source nearby. They have to walk miles and miles. So those people will suffer. That's why throughout India, all the people do not have equal access to the fresh water. Some have got access and they are overusing it. Some have got less access and they are struggling. So that is the situation. So each one of us will have to ask ourselves, what am I doing in order to help my fellow human beings, my fellow friends, my fellow citizens? Am I enjoying too much water while I am making my friend or my neighbor or my fellow citizens to suffer? So we need to ask that question ourselves. Am I using the nature's resources properly, and am I using it in a reserve way? Then there's a little knowledge is given there, GK. According to Falkenmark, a Swedish expert, water stress occurs when water availability is between 1000 and 1600 cubic meter per person per year. So he said there will be water stress. We speak about mental stress, isn't it? When we have too much worries and tensions, we have mental stress. We are not able to be happy, we are not able to think properly. Always we feel the head is rolling and so on. That is called mental stress. So in the same way, we will be experiencing water stress when the availability of water is between 1000 and 1600 cubic meters per person per year. So if one person uses between 1000 and 1600 cubic meters, then he will be experiencing water stress. That means he is worried how this water level is going down. So he will be really worried, how am I going to make the water available and so on. So the person will be really struggle, he will be really worried and so on. So where is then this water scarcity likely to occur? Are you have read in the hydrological cycle, fresh water can be obtained directly from precipitation, surface runoff and groundwater. So we already said about the three sources of fresh water. What are the three sources of fresh water? One is running water, that is where will you find running water? You will find in the rivers. Then second one is precipitation, that is rain. Then third one is, can you say? River, rain and groundwater. I already said underground water. So these are the three sources of fresh water. The river water or the running water, the rain water for the precipitation, rain and snow is included, precipitation. Then ground water, the water that is under the ground. These are the fresh sources of water. I hope you are following it. So we are talking about the scarcity that people are facing because of the shortage of water. And what are the reasons for the shortage? We said it is because of overexploitation, excessive use and unequal access. These are the three reasons why there is scarcity, water scarcity. What are they? Overexploitation, excessive use, and third one is unequal access. And we find there are three sources of fresh water. One is river, another one is precipitation, that is rainfall and snowfall, then underground water. So these are the sources of fresh water. So we shall wind it up today, and we will meet again in the next class, and we will continue with the rest of the water scarcity and the way to do the water conservation. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.